Hey, this is Matteo Lane.
I'm Emma Willman.
And this is Inside the Closet.
Inside the Closet.
Hey guys, another episode of Inside the Closet. Emma and I today are discussing everything from our Netflix special to what happened with Louis C.K. at the Cellar this week and where we're going to be performing and a bunch of other things. It's a little serious, but you know what? Every once in a while, it's okay to get serious. We even talk politics. So yeah, thanks so much for listening and enjoy. Okay, hey girl.
Here we are.
So, I mean, where do we begin?
Well, I want to begin with, I'd love to begin with addressing the fun of Netflix.
I want to thank all of our fans for being so fucking awesome and our Closeteers, which they've been messaging me on Instagram. And I know you wanted insiders, but I think they've spoken, Emma, and it's the Closeteers.
Okay. Fair.
But it's been such a great week, and everyone's been so nice, and I don't know, Emma and I are just over the moon. We've been texting each other all week, just beaming with excitement and just happy that you guys have responded. And I don't know, you guys are just the best, and I hope that, you know, we try and make you guys laugh and bring some joy to people's lives, and, you know, we're trying.
It's also good, too, because when I first... They had sent us the footage, which we had told you guys about, and I was like, I'm not watching it. I look like a turducken. I'm not doing it.
What did you say you look like?
I thought I looked like a turducken. I thought when I watched like little clips of it, I was like, I look like a turkey stuck inside a turkey eating hot dog or whatever a turducken is. Because sometimes I get like this, like I'm like, ugh. But then, so I was like, I'm not watching it. So I was with our therapist, and we were flying to LA on the morning of the 31st. Mm-hmm. So she was like, let's watch Matteo's. And I was like, yes, let's definitely watch Matteo's. So we started watching yours, and we were watching it and laughing. And I was like, oh my God, I love how they edited this. And when we had talked, and you said you thought maybe you came out with too much energy. And then I was like, no, it was perfect, because it seemed like it matched the setting, which it did. So I was like, oh my God, like, this is great. And then she was like, Maddie, you want to watch yours? And I was like, no. Then we go to LA, and I started feeling kind of nervous, because I was like, uh-oh, like, great, I have something shitty out there. Like, I feel bad. Like, I was like really grumpy. And then we were also like jet lagged. And she was like, please just watch this. Like, no. Then we watched two other ones. I won't say from who, and I was like, oh, I hope I didn't come across like those ones.
Oh my God.
But they were still really good. I was just like, I don't know about that. And then she was like, please just watch. It felt like a guy trying to convince a girl just the tip.
Girl.
At one point, she goes, Emma, can we just watch the first 30 seconds? And I was like, no. And she's like, you know, if it feels good, then we can watch the whole thing. I'm like, no.
See, look, I had hesitation watching mine. I just can't believe you've had this much hesitation watching yours. I find that shocking.
Well, see, I would, but then I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy with this. I love how it came out. I felt like...
My whole family watched you, by the way. Like, they were all together at my grandparents' house, like all 800 of them, and they all watched you and loved you.
It was just, I liked how they edited it. I liked how they did it, and I really liked the 15-minute format, and I thought it made everyone look really good. I thought it was like a good slice of life.
I think so, too. I think it was a great introduction to showing people what, you know, like a real comedy club is like. I mean, that's what we do. We go up, obviously we do an hour, and obviously you and I will both do an hour at some point, but this is what a typical New York Comedy Cellar Friday night looks like. And it just felt really great to be able to showcase that. And I think people are really nice because they're just like, please, Matteo, do an hour, this and that. We want to see an hour from you. And I was like, girl, I'm like, if I had any control, I would have started.
I know.
But
I've been telling people to tweet at Netflix when they write that to me. I'm like, just tweet at Netflix or write to Netflix.
Right, that's what I say. I've gotten a lot of followers and a lot of responses and stuff, and I don't know, it just feels really, really good. And Emma, you were so good, and it was really great to watch you because I just think you don't understand how natural of a performer you are and how natural all this is for you. I mean, you really
my
just
has been up, so I've been having I didn't do, because the art therapist was visiting, so I didn't do any shows Friday. I did do 2 on Saturday, and I went and saw, Matteo and I have a friend, Julie, who's a stylist, and she got me an outfit for when I'm potentially doing Colbert again, but she got me some other stuff, and I told her, I was like, I want to go more feminine. You know, the lesbian hunger, I want to go feminine. So right when I walked in the apartment, she was like, don't freak out when I show you the clothes. You said you wanted to go more feminine. And I was like, okay. And she like put them upstairs. Like
she offers you Princess Diana's wedding dress.
Oh my God. I trust her so much I would try it on because
she's amazing.
She's amazing. So she got me this cute, Jules Irene, if you're ever looking for a style. She got me this
and she's about to have a kid.
About to have a baby. She got me this cute pink jacket, and I've been wearing that to my last 3 shows. And my confidence has been through the roof.
I like how we were on a billboard.
Yep, and I hate that picture of me though. That's why
I hate that picture of me too. I look like a clone of Matteo that they didn't get right. Or I look like one of those Madame Tussauds where it's like, it's not like, it says it's Jennifer Lopez, but when you get closer, you're like, I really can't tell if I thought it was the mother from Addams Family.
It looks good. Your body looks great. It just looks a little washed out.
It doesn't look like me. I mean, I'm just gonna say right here, right now, it's not me. But I'm happy to be involved.
Yeah, glad I want to say because
you guys have been writing good reviews for our podcast on the the Apple review, whatever the hell you write them on. I read the 2 negative reviews because that's the kind of person I am. And
of course. Oh, yeah, I've got the negative reviews tattooed in my arm.
Yeah. Someone was so mad that we kept billboard. They were mainly mad at me because they think that I repeat too many impressions. Which, I mean, they're not wrong.
You're delusional. That's not what they didn't say that, I don't think.
They did.
Both they had to hear one more story about my pathetic love life, and then it felt like I was competing with you when I was with the Canadian. Just competing.
Oh yeah, that was. Which I think is really funny because I was like, you know, if they think I did too many impressions, then fair enough. But like, you and I have never been competing about, I don't think, anything.
Right.
I think we're both pretty good to each other, especially about love. I didn't ever get the sense that we were competing over love, but it's whatever. But everyone's been great.
So you read the thing?
I read. What do you mean? I read all the reviews, and they were all really sweet. So I'm just like, okay, I can't wait till we're back together in the studio, though. It's so hard. I hope you guys understand. Like, it's so hard when we're both traveling so much to be able to do this. Like,
right.
You know. So at least we get to talk to her on the phone. I really hope Lindsay Lohan sees my special because she's been in the news lately. Because
what do you think of the dancing? What are your initial thoughts? Because my initial thoughts were that people were being mean to her.
Well, yeah, people were being mean to her. I think she was just having a good time. I think that here's what the best part about it. Whether people were being mean to her or not, she posted it herself and took control of the meme.
Which was smart.
Which was very smart and also frightening because I didn't realize she was so self-aware. You know, in a sense, it's kind of like, oh, wow, Lindsay gets it. But then she also, you know, tweeted, R.I.P. John McCain, feel better. So, you know,
no, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
She tweeted, R.I.P. John McCain, feel better.
Yeah, she Instagrammed it. She said, R.I.P. John McCain. The picture's out, and everyone who I love has been sending it to me. I guess I am the Leelo News headquarter, but
which is concerning.
Well, I just love that she said, "Feel better, John McCain," or "R.I.P. Feel better." So you know, it's like sometimes I think she's lucid and she gets it, and then other times I'm like, okay, she still has no idea how to spell mother or mom backwards, and I'm fine with that. I like her.
I don't know how to spell mom backwards.
Well, that's true. But I think people mistake my joke about her for hating her, and I think it's the opposite. I actually love Lindsay Lohan.
What?
I do. I find her to be.
Are you backpedaling?
This is not backpedaling. It is. It's a classic. A lot of gay men love their. It's like the same thing with Liza. I'm obsessed with Liza. I love Liza. I will follow her to the end of the earth. But yeah, of course I'm gonna like poke fun at her. It's the highest form of flattery.
You know what it is? It also shows you're interested. If you didn't like someone, you just wouldn't talk about them.
Well, that's it. I mean, Joan Rivers is always like, yeah, Cher always got mad when I was taken out of the act because it means she wasn't relevant. So at least people are talking about Lindsay,
Right. When people first sent that to me, I saw it and I was like, okay, you know what? She doesn't have good rhythm. But then, and I was like, at least she's out there trying to dance. But then what became concerning was I was like, man, she's got to be kind of fucked up. Like that, like when she does the like leg lift and the slow, and if you haven't seen the video, we'll post it up on the Facebook page. There's the point where she flips her hair back and then does the slow leg lift out of rhythm with the music and then again, which I've been there dancing, but it's like, she looks fucked up.
She's doing the Leelo. That's what she called it. She's like, gotta do the Leelo. So
That's what she called it after people freaked out, and then she has like someone who helped her save that.
Some gay was like, you better post this now and take control of it, otherwise we're fucked.
Where did that happen? Was that in
Mykonos at her island?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And the resort's not going so well, so.
Probably not. TV star doesn't really turn into club owner, but I wish the best for her. I wonder what next evolution and shape she'll take. But right now she's just Mykonos club owner.
She will need to reinvent herself. She would need to get a little bit healthier to have some resurgence, or she'd have to go away for a while and go. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so either. I was trying to explain show business to the art therapist because she's so even keeled. Me ranting and raving about this is funny to me. So then it like eggs me on. But I was like, here's the thing. I was like, what's incredible about Madonna is like the reinventions of herself. Like you got time, you come on the scene, then your story, then people interview you about your story. Then if you're dating someone who's super famous and there's something there, then that's more of a story. Or you keep it going, hopefully through the different projects you're doing that surprise people and they want to dialogue about it. Then in those next couple years, it's like something incredibly amazing has to happen, or you have to fucking bottom out, scandal. Then you go to rehab, then you write a book, then you got another couple years, then you disappear. And she was like, okay. And I was like, and that's entertainment.
I mean, I think that's true for some people. I don't think like Streisand doesn't do that, Cher doesn't do that. It's like, Madonna's an interesting one because I feel like there was a make or break moment, and when she divorced Guy Ritchie, she went in a direction that I think turned a lot of people off. I don't know. I just am waiting for the next evolution of Madonna, but she seems to be trying to go backwards rather than forwards. It's a strange evolution, and I love Madonna, and I support her, but I'm also a little questionable about the decisions she's making. That being said, I think she's really smart.
Amen to that. I actually forgot that her and Guy Ritchie broke up.
Oh, yeah. They divorced years ago.
What's going to be next for you now that the Netflix is done?
Well, I'm going to dress up like a voodoo doll and go to the MTV Awards, and if someone dies, I'll be sure to make it about myself.
Are you going? Are you going to the MTV Music Video Awards?
No, they just happened. I'm just making a joke about what Madonna did 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I was like, wait, how are you going to do that? They already...
why would I be presenting an award to anybody, too? I don't know. I'm just continuing to perform at the Cellar and go on the road and do all that jazz. I don't even know. I mean, there's so much we have to talk about, and I wonder if it's even worth us talking about it.
Well, my confidence is up, so now I'm excited for the next thing I'll try to do. We'll see. I'm going to San Francisco is next week. I'm going to go try to do a travel show, but I had to cancel some show dates. My next show is that's the you know what?
Wait,
after this.
Aren't you going to Vegas?
No, I had to cancel it because I thought I'd be filming Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which now I will not be. So
why? Email Effie.
Because now I'm going to film the Sizzle for the Travel Show thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry to everyone I'm eating eggs right now. It's my 4th hour, and I have to keep my protein intake. God, I'm such a... You know, I did a radio show this morning, and it got a little heated, but it ended up being a really good radio show. But everywhere I go, I'm asked about the seller. Everywhere I go.
Really? What about?
I'm asked about Louis.
Wow. What are people saying?
They're just asking my opinion. They just want to know what I think and what's going down. And I've come to, I said today on the show, one of the questions I was asked, because I was saying that place is home, and Noam and Esty do everything to make that place wonderful for not only the comics, but also for the audience and the staff. And they were asking me about, what about Louis? What about redemption? And my answer was, I don't think we can talk about redemption until we finish talking about how we treat women. That I find it interesting that men want to jump to how does this guy redeem himself when we're still trying to figure out why we can't all get on the same page on how to treat women. I mean, I find it shocking because it's like there are so many people coming in from so many different opinions and so many walks of life, and it's like we're still in 2018 trying to figure out how to address women at work, how to address women in private, how to treat women. I mean, I think if this wasn't an issue, it wouldn't be so highly discussed. And so for me, I'm like, I don't know if it's a conversation about redemption, which I think everyone is in agreement that redemption is something that is, you know, it's something that we all want people to have and work towards.
Sure.
But right now, I think the discussion is just purely about, you know, how do we treat women? How do we better our treatment of women? And I don't know what you think of that.
Well, treat them worse. No, of course. Well, because it was Aparna and Charlotte wrote a piece in the New York Times about it, about like who gets to have a second chance, and that was really interesting to me, you know. And then someone else wrote, Candy Clare, the booker at Stand Up New York, wrote a piece too about, and like kind of the gist of it was like, you know, he doesn't get to be that guy right now where he just walks in and goes up. Like he needs to, and then because part of it, what I was inferring is it's like, you know, in the vein of consent, he needs to be giving people the option to see him or not. Then some part of me did understand though, like him wanting to, because people, just to play, you know, maybe a less popular opinion, but this did go through my mind when people were like, you know, he just popped in and he didn't do material about what happened. Now, writing material is hard, let alone writing material about what happened in a way that's actually like funny and does it any justice and isn't disrespectful. So I was like, maybe he's just trying to get his sea legs back, and then he will, then he'll be able to talk about it. But I'm glad you brought it up because it's funny. I wrote down a little list of things to talk about today, and one of them is about my Skanky Jane Lynch thing, which I cannot believe I wrote that down and then not this. But I don't know if I'm being too sympathetic. If I was being too sympathetic towards him because this was one thing that was big for me too. He posed himself in his comedy as like a really sick, fucked up person. Whereas what creeped me out even more about like Bill Cosby was that he didn't. So then that made me be like, oh my God, what's really going on here? But then with Louis, at first I was like, yeah, he's trying to slowly start doing comedy again. But then when that people started making those cases, I was like, wow, you know, there is something to be said. I really see what everyone's saying, and it made me feel bothered at myself that it took other people, women, saying that for me. Then I was surprised that I didn't see their point more clearly. So I'm very grateful for Aparna and people like eloquently painting that picture and not just being like, what the fuck, that wasn't fair.
Well, this is kind of my opinion about, you know, I read Aparna's article and it was great. I think, all right, let me put it this way, because I'm trying to be as like I think no matter if this man wants to go back and do comedy, I don't know that anyone can physically stop him. But,
Right. Well,
but you know what I mean? It's like if he's going to do comedy, he's going to do comedy. My take on this is that if he had addressed, even if it was just a sincere, honest moment that had nothing to do with comedy, would this conversation the country is having be different?
say that one more time. I just want to make sure I understand it.
If he got up on stage and instead of doing 15 minutes of normal jokes, including masturbatory jokes, if he had gotten on stage and addressed
that is crazy
and said whatever, hedged it with I'm sorry or I'm here to apologize or I'm on my path to redemption, or because I think the reason why people are talking about it so much because we do associate him with being so open and honest about the most fucked up aspects of his life.
Right.
That I don't know why we can hear Alex right now.
Is that Alex, or was it that I just ate a gummy bear? Oh, I hear him too.
I hear him too.
That's our producer somehow, but
that's our producer.
In, so.
Alex, we can hear you, just FYI.
If he had addressed it, you think the conversation would be different?
Well, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that any of it would be better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that everything would be forgiven. I'm saying, would the conversation be different? Because the fact that he was so open and honest about his fucked up side in his stand-up, and then to get up and just fall on deaf ears, just not even mention it, I think people were shocked by that. So to me, the reaction from people is so big because it has a lot to do with that none of it was brought up and addressed.
Right, like it's toned. I guess one thing too is I'm thinking from such a performer mentality. It's like if you go up in comedy when you're doing a set, it's like you call your opener, and you want it to be your strongest thing because it sets the tone for the rest of the show. So it's like if he goes up and opens with "I'm sorry for everything I did" and repent, then how the fuck is he going to dig himself out of that? But also, fuck that, because it's not about him digging himself out of something or him having a good set. It's about caring about the recovery and healing process for not just the victims, but like anybody that maybe was a victim of sexual assault or knows someone who is, which is pretty much everybody. So it's like kind of thinking like before you expose them, and like that word feels like really pertinent with it, before you expose them to what you're doing, if you should give them the option to not be around it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because so many people come from so many different sides, and my side is I think that above everything else, we still really need to have a discussion about how we are treating and talking about women and sexual assault, because I don't think that it is an issue that people take as seriously as they should. And that's not even just against women, sexual assault against anybody. I mean, that sexual assault is really prevalent in the gay community, the queer community, the straight community. Again, like you said, it happens everywhere all the time, and we're not taking it as seriously as we can be. And so people are trying to be like, well, when are we going to let the guy forgive him? It's like that's not the conversation right now. The conversation is about we all need to get on the same page about how to treat women and people in general, but specifically in this situation, women. And it's so strange because every time I want to talk about it, like I was doing this interviews for the Netflix 15, and people were asking me about it, and I just like didn't know how to respond. I didn't know how to respond because I'm already nervous enough having this be my first big thing. Then people are suddenly asking me my opinion on something like that, and it's like I don't know that I don't even know what I'm barely ready to talk about myself.
The Michelle Wolf, in an interview, someone asked her about it, and I forget exactly how she handled it, but she was like, since this is about my first special, I don't want to give airtime to a negative thing.
That's kind of how I feel, and I don't even know if it's worth us addressing this right now. Like, I'm wondering if anything I'm saying is damaging to us or to anyone.
Not at all.
But
I was the one that said I could see why he didn't address it because it's a tough opener.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's something that people are talking about, and we're comics, and I love the Comedy Cellar, and I think that place is. I think it's the best comedy club in the world, and
I agree.
I just think it sucks that a lot of people we love right now, and people we don't even know, are in pain because of this. And you know, I just hope that we all get to a point where we can start having. Where we can move forward and evolve, and so that these types of things don't have to happen again.
You think he's going to be back at the Cellar?
I don't know. I really don't know. If you had asked me that 2 weeks ago, I would have told you no, because I didn't expect him to come back this week or last week or whenever it was. You know, it's like, I don't know. So, you know, I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm not even going to think about that. I'm just going to think about, you know, the things that I can control.
I agree. That's all you can do. How's fitness stuff going?
You know, fine. I just had eggs and oatmeal, so there. I got my protein and carbs in.
What do you do when don't you get sugar cravings?
Yeah, of course. I had gelato the other day. I was, okay, so my family, I have family, like family friends, but family who moved here from Sicily, and they were meeting me, up in Manhattan, and they brought their dog, which I swear to you is the size of a horse. And so trying to find a restaurant where you can eat at with a dog is so impossible. And then on top of it, the dog's name is Floyd. So we went to this one Mexican restaurant, and literally the entire time, Floyd kept like trying to come in the restaurant. And so while we're sitting and trying to eat, all I hear is, you know, it's so nice in New York. Floyd seduto, Floyd terra, Floyd pasta, Floyd terra, Floyd zampa, ma che fa? And like everyone's like, the dog can't be here, and you've got to get out, and da-da-da. It's like, no, the dog is okay. And then Floyd is like, roar, roar, and other dogs, and we're like, no, Floyd, terra, seduto, Floyd, terra. So it was just like, it was the most insane lunch I've ever had.
That's crazy.
With a bunch of Italians just sitting and screaming at their dog named Floyd. I just love that the dog's name is Floyd, not like Sparky or... Well, I don't even know, whatever the fuck you would name a dog. Even Geppetto. Floyd. The name is Floyd.
I knew someone that had a dog named Emma, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, and they were your
like, Emma won't
friends.
stop shitting on the floor. I'm like, yep, do we really need to?
Yeah. Who would name a dog Emma?
That's a pretty cute name.
Yeah, but I mean, for a dog, I don't know. I'm not so sure how I feel about that.
I told the art therapist that I love her.
Oh my God. You did?
Yeah. I had been thinking of it for a while, and
you didn't lead with this?
Well, I didn't. I had been thinking about it for a while, and then I was like trying to figure out like what, you know, I had been thinking about it, and her and I are very like, you know, she's very calm. It's not manic at all. It's not like some like crazy dramatic, like, oh my God, I love you, like in a way where, you know, I felt like with the Canadian, I was more like she didn't really give anything back to have it feel like a reciprocal relationship. So I think it was more like I was like caught up in feeling like an exciting thing that felt familiar in some weird ways. But then I was thinking it with the art therapist, and then there was this night where, you know, my ex was texting me. And she was texting me about, like, I get really good rates in hotel rooms. So she'd been texting, can you help me get a hotel room? And I, like, sent her back some options. And the art therapist was like, why is she texting you? And then I told her that. And she's like, Emma, that's inappropriate. Like, it's a boundary thing. Like, why are you doing favors for her? Like, that's crazy. That's not, you know, that's upsetting to me. And it just kind of, like, broke my heart. Like, I was kind of like, yeah. Like, she's, like, I've gotten a lot better about it. But I was like, you're right. And then yeah, that night I was just like, I kind of was like, I said it, and it felt good to say. It was nice.
Well, so that's amazing. So you guys are like full-blown
girlfriends.
Did she say she loved you back?
A couple days later.
Really?
No,
a couple?
No. She did.
I was like, oh my God, Emma, okay.
Oh my God,
like,
could you imagine if you said you love someone and they didn't say it back? Have you ever had that?
I've never had that, but I mean, I've gotten to the point where I've told people I like them, and then they break up with me a week later.
Yeah, that's tough too.
Well, it's just humiliating. I mean, you really just feel like a total piece of shit.
How long
you know?
did you and TK wait before you guys sent that back?
5 days into meeting each other.
Wow, and you just knew?
Yeah, I mean, it really was crazy, but I really was just like, oh yeah, this is, because I've been single for 9 years, and so I've been doing the gamut. I've been going up and down and meeting people, and I mean, it's like, then I finally met Kike, and I was like, oh wait, this feels completely different. This is that feeling that people talk about, When I said goodbye to him at the airport, I literally sat in my bed and bawled for like an hour.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like afraid I was never going to see him again, and that I had lost the opportunity to love. I don't know. It was, and it's funny to me because it's like, it's such a risk and it's such a daring thing to ask someone to be in a long distance relationship, especially at that length when you barely met each other.
Yeah.
But we both felt so strongly about each other that it almost like there was no other option.
Right.
So saying I loved him was like the most natural thing for me to say.
Was Kike excited about the special?
Yeah, he was excited about the special. I think his friends at work are
yeah, what did they say?
Are talking about it now. I mean, it's just he doesn't really say much, like every once in a while I was like, oh yeah, my friends at work talk about you, amore. And I'm like,
so
really?
cute.
Like, what do they say? I don't know, nothing, no.
That's tough if someone says, yeah, they talk about you, and you're like what? And they're like, oh, nothing. And you're like, what?
No, it's like, like they like you. They say they like you. They laugh, amore.
When's the next time you guys are going to get to see each other?
We will see, let me see. I think, October, because I'm going to Italy.
Ooh. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm doing shows in Italian. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
That's so exciting.
I know. Yeah, this Netflix thing really was a great week.
It was great.
It was fun.
I also felt good because I was like, oh, I have a lot of material left over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my first long set on Wednesday, so I'll see what it's like doing a long set after. But I was like, yeah, I've got that. Even with that out of there, even if I didn't redo it, then I've got enough time.
I'm going to Boston, by the way, next week at Laugh Boston. So if you're in Boston and you want to see me, the 13th to the 15th, I'll be doing a full hour. So.
Oh boy, you're gonna do a whole hour?
Yeah, of course.
Wow, good for you.
I mean, when I go on the road, I have to do an hour, so.
Right.
Which an hour never feels that daunting.
I usually do 45.
I'll probably do 45 to 55 realistically. I mean, but I want to push myself and see like how much of an hour can I do, because I have so much material, and sometimes I don't feel like I can do that material in 15-minute increments at the cellar because I want to make sure that I'm doing really well.
Right.
So to do an hour allows so much forgiveness, because I know if I need to jump back into something, I can, but I could take the time to explore something that I want to explore.
I totally agree. I did a show last night at an animal shelter, and it was a dog shelter. So they had dogs. Basically, the premise is they're trying to find homes for the dogs. So
are you telling jokes to the dogs?
Well, so before I said to our therapist, I was like, this is her last night in town. This is like another reason she's a good girlfriend. I took 2 nights off of comedy, but I did comedy 2 of the nights. But I was like, look, this show is at an animal shelter. It's going to not be glamorous. It might be a little weird. She's like, oh, it'll definitely be weird. So we get there, but I was also like, it might just be you and the dogs. And you know what? If I was bombing in front of the dogs, I'd probably still be upset about the set.
Well, how do you bomb in front of a dog? I mean, you're talking, they're licking their asshole.
Well, I'd be like, yes, I guess it's a lot like doing some clubs in the road. But
it's like doing a bear event.
Exactly. I was like, if I bombed in front of a dog, I'd be like, I'm just having bad energy, and the dog starts freaking out. But there was like a bunch of people, and then they have the dogs like run around, and then like you look at the dogs while you're listening to comedy. And right when we got there, they made me sign a waiver, and I was like, what's the waiver for? And they're like, oh, it's in case anybody bites you or pees on you, or you bite anybody, or you hurt the dog, or the dog.
In case you bite anybody. I mean,
And I was
Are
like,
they
fair enough,
joking?
then. The guy was kidding, but I was like, fair enough. So then we did it, and it was actually like really, really fun. But the girl that went on after me, she seemed a little bit greener, and I was like, oh, I wonder how she's gonna handle like this comedy setting. One, she was really funny. Two, in the middle of her set, a bulldog started like aggressively humping somebody. So she had to stop and be like, lady, are you okay? But the lady was being so polite. She wasn't like going like, get off me. So this dog was just like going at her.
You know, are you sure you did a real show, or are you sure you didn't just walk into a PetSmart and start doing stand-up? I mean, what I'm trying to say is, isn't it ridiculous, the shows that we agree to?
That's ridiculous. And you know what? I was happy to do it.
I mean, it's like, I love that you did that, because it's like, it just adds on to like when someone asks you like, what are the weirdest gigs that you've done? And you're like, well, I performed for dogs. That wouldn't even be in the top 10. What is the weirdest gig that you had to do?
The weirdest and worst one was when I first started out. This guy, his name was Paul, probably still is. He was like, do you want to do my show? It's in a park. And I've done other shows in a park, which is fine. This show in a park, there was like no people at it. And then there was like a couple like trying to have a picnic. And he like just set a microphone up, and I was like, no, we can't do this. And it was me and Rose, who listens to the podcast. Hello, Rose, if you're listening. And we were both kind of like, oh my God, like we're still going to have the show. Like there's no people here. This guy just like stood up. Later came to find out this guy also like lived in his van at the time. So it was like
what?
full on. Yeah. Like it was like a full on, like what the fuck. But I was like so new and so like happy to even have a show that I like did it. And I remember feeling so fucking degraded afterwards. Like I was so degraded.
I mean, it's pretty hard to. I remember one time I performed in a park, and in the middle of my set, like a flock of birds just flew like around and around and around me, and it was so distracting because it's like you're trying to tell jokes, and then like pigeons steal the show.
Yeah, and you're like, is this a sign from God? Like, what is happening? Also, we were harassing that poor couple, like, and then people like feel bad for you, kind of. So then they have to kind of like look at you. It was such a disaster. That. And then another time I was in a cafeteria and they didn't have a stage, and I forget if I'm like, this is before I was not drinking. I'm pretty sure I was like standing on a cafeteria table, and people were like coming and going. Like I was like in some area, the cafeteria was like actively being used, so people were coming and going. That would be up there, I would say.
So I know we don't normally talk about politics on this show, but I don't know how much you follow politics.
I would like to follow more.
Okay, so Kavanaugh, or however the hell you say his name, who Trump is trying to get in as a Supreme Court justice member. So I find this really interesting. One, he was approached by a dad whose daughter died in Parkland, like I don't know if you remember that, but his daughter was shot at a school shooting. And he went up to shake his hand, said who he was, and this guy looked at him and turned around and walked away. I don't know. what do you think of it?
Well, we had gotten I got a message from someone that listens to the podcast. It's from me, that asked me if I'd be willing to like oppose this. And I was like, I was about to say, yeah, sure. And then the art therapist was like, why don't you ask them what that would entail? And I was like, oh yeah. So then I asked, and he was like, just use the platform, any platform you have to like talk about it. And then I hadn't gotten a chance to read the email yet, so I didn't know the ins and outs of it. But what is quote unquote the reason that what do people in their misguided way, what do they think they like about him?
Well, I would say the problem on our side, if you're a left or left-leaning, is that his track record on women's issues, including abortion, are not good, and there's real fear that he'll take Roe versus Wade and try and bring that out of the, basically make it illegal depending on what state you live in with abortion. And so it's just taking away more women's rights.
Right.
I mean, this is what the conversation is about him specifically, is that, you know, he's conservative leaning, and that, you know, and the bigger reason actually why we don't want him in is because Trump knows that if he gets him on his side, that if Trump is indicted, which I don't even know if you can indict a sitting president, but if he gets impeached or this case gets to the Supreme Court, that he will have picked someone who will get him out of trouble. So a lot of people who are at the press hearing today are saying, I don't in good conscience feel that this is a good thing for me to do, because if we allow you to sit on the Supreme Court, you know, you have a president who's about to be indicted or could be indicted, and then it's illegal for him to have you on the Supreme Court because you'll just side with him. So he's trying to pick, I don't know. Am I getting too serious? I'm not making anybody laugh.
Not at all.
All right. Well, I guess we can end that discussion, but I don't know. I'm very into politics. I didn't realize how politically aware I am, but I watch the news every day. And of course, I can't even pronounce these people's last names. Yeah. So I feel like I've been so serious today, and maybe it's not so good for the podcast, but every once in a while, it's okay to get serious, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Sorry. Are you okay, Emma? I feel like I've taken the conversation into...
Not at all.
Okay. I'm really, really happy about you and the art therapist. I think that's
Me too.
really, really beautiful. Yeah.
I think it's exciting. It's a nice, like, positive thing outside entertainment. You know, also with politics this year, I want to be more involved too, because I used to be so involved, and then now it's just like, over the years, I got like comfortable, especially when Obama was in office. I mean, I guess comfortable like a lot of people did, and then I just like wasn't like paying attention to things, and then it was like boom, boom, boom. Now it's so bad, it's like surreal. Like it's literally the line of what's reality TV and what's going on is just like, it's just crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, it's kind of yeah, it's, you know, a great way to, if anyone out there is interested in getting into politics, you know, sometimes it is boring to just sit and watch the news or to read the news. I get that. There's certain ways you can get involved in it. I mean, I literally got involved with politics from watching The View. And I know that's like the most bland, ridiculous way to view politics, but, you know, it's a way that gets you in, start understanding the conversation. And I listen to a lot of NPR, or I listen to even Howard Stern when Robin does the news. I watch Morning Joe. I watch Rachel Maddow. You know, there's different ways to get involved. But this is the one time I would say, yeah, it's kind of important to know what's going on in the country, because, I mean, everything is just so incredibly fucked up.
I completely agree. I should start watching Rachel Maddow. Someone commented on one of my YouTube things saying it's ever since Rachel Maddow, it feels like lesbians feel pressure to wear makeup. I'm like, what? That makes like Rachel Maddow's the lesbian you think of when you think of pressure to wear makeup.
I don't know, but whoever does her makeup does a great job, because her skin every night looks absolutely flawless.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, really, she looks like her makeup is good. It's subtle, but it's good. It's great makeup. I think that I would be a great makeup artist, and I wonder if we should do a video of me doing someone's makeup for drag. My friend Alfredo, who goes by Free when he does drag, is starting to do drag. And I think, because I drew so long, that I'd be really good at makeup. Is that an ignorant statement to make?
I think you'd be great. Have you ever done? You can do my makeup. We can put it on the Patreon.
Do you want me to make you into a drag queen?
What would you do?
I would block out your eyebrows and put in new eyebrows, and then make your eyes ridiculous, and then really like high contour, and then make your lips bigger, and, you know, everything that they do for drag.
All right, let's do it. What would I do?
Anything you want to wear. But we should do that. We should film me getting makeup and then putting it together, and then we can have Monet and Bob judge it.
I'm totally down. What would they judge?
I mean, they'd probably tell me that I'm terrible.
Emma wins.
No, it would be more me. They'd be like, Matteo, you did a terrible job. Or they'd be like, Matteo, you did a great job. But I don't think that they would tell me I did a great job. Although I think I would do a great job.
I think you'd do an amazing job. Would you do it on yourself, too?
You know what? No, because I don't want to shave. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I hate being fully shaved. So if I shave and I turn into a drag queen, it's like, you know, I would do the makeup part for the eyes. I just don't want to do it for the whatchamacallit, the beard part.
I wonder if you could put makeup on it over. Oh yeah, no. We've got no need for us to do this. We don't need to.
Or maybe we should have a thing where Monet does makeup on me.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, she's done me as Liza before.
Mm.
I know, but then she gets mad at me because I don't shave all the way.
Right. Well, I mean, how much are you supposed to, what can you be expected of you, you know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot. They want me to, like, take everything off. You know, you and I need to do another photo shoot together. I want to do, like, a really creative, different photo shoot of you and I just, like, queering it the fuck out.
Oh, I would love that. We could do a prom photo, or is that too quick?
I would love to. Well, we can, there's different photographers that we can work with. You know what I mean?
I would love that. You get so many photographers to take so many pictures of you.
I know. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Daniel Sung Lee is a photographer I love working with here in New York. He's unbelievable. He just did that photo shoot of me as like a Greek god.
Ooh, I love that. I love.
Did you see it on my Instagram?
Yeah, I think that looks great. I think it really looks great.
I love that you're in your car, by the way.
I'm in a parking lot. I'm in a parking lot outside, and we're recording this on Memorial Day. I'm in a parking lot outside the chiropractor's outside a chiropractor's office.
Oh, it's something to go to your chiropractor.
Yeah, you got to go to the one in New York. It's so much better. The ones in LA, I go to this like chain place, which is fine. But you just say it's like wham bam, thank you, man. You go in, they're like, you're in and out in 5 minutes. In New York, they like stretch you and do all this stuff, and it's like, you know, it's a process. This is like, just couldn't be quicker.
It couldn't be bothered with you.
Yeah, it's so LA. It's like you just go in, they adjust you, like there's no talking. It feels sexual. I don't know what's going on. I wanted to tell you, I got this audition in, and I'm going to post it on the Patreon, and I was kind of like, oh, it's like for a heterosexual person, not the heterosexual one where I was supposed to bite off a pigeon head.
Which also blows my mind. But go on.
Didn't get a call back. But this one was for, I'm supposed to like flirt with someone and like flirt with a guy, and like I'm a waitress and I like lead them around and like make some pretty strong sexual innuendos. So I was like, so what exactly is the vibe of this character? And it was for Skanky Jane Lynch.
What is that? Skanky Jane Lynch? Like that was the description?
Yeah. Yes, actually. And so you know what I did?
What?
I took the pink jacket I've been wearing to shows recently, and I had a shirt on underneath it. And the girl doing the audition with me was like, I was like, is this skanky? And she was like, no. And I was like, what could I do to make it skanky? So we ended up unzipping it, and I like had like a bra situation under the jacket. You know?
Oh my God, Emma, you're just like turning into Madonna at this audition. You should have walked in with like a cone bra.
Oh my God, I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Well, I could show you. If you'd like.
Yeah, you've got it all. You've got it all down.
Yeah, for some reason I'm really confident in that. I have like 18 cone bras in my closet.
Oh my goodness.
In case for moments like this.
I wish I was back in New York. I would love to get to be in New York right now.
Well, you know, what sucks is being so far away from each other. It's so much nicer and easier to do the podcast when we get to sit next to each other. Totally. And of course I love doing it like this because I just love talking to you. But just so everyone listening at home, it's frustrating for us too because we definitely love being with each other when we do the podcast.
You know what makes it it makes it easier for me when, because too, I can see like the timing of stuff. Like I can read someone's face, face and stuff, which is always appreciated.
I know. I'm trying to read the sound of your voice, Mike. Does Emma need to go? Is she tired? What time is it in LA?
Oh, right now it's 3:30.
Oh, real quick, we could talk about this. This is going to be like the last thing we talk about because we should be going soon. But what did you make of the Cosby star who was filmed at working?
Thank you for bringing that up. Oh my God, it's so hard. Show business is so hard, and like as someone that like doesn't manage money that well myself, it's like fucking good for him because the truth is like. We don't know what he could have had a wife that cleaned him. Maybe could have had, when he got cast, maybe they gave him a bad deal. Maybe he didn't have a good lawyer defending for him. Maybe he had a shitbag manager that didn't do anything and then just charged him a commission all at once when he had to write and ask him for it, which is exactly what just happened to me. I realized I hadn't paid my manager in months and months, which is good because I don't do any work. He doesn't do any work. So I was like, oh, well, it's just like, no harm, no foul. And then I was like, wait, I'm going to owe this motherfucker money. And then I just wrote earlier and was like, and I'm happy to keep this on the podcast, no problem. I was like, where's the invoice? I pay my agents every month, my glorious agents that are exceptional at their job. Love to pay them. Love to pay my lawyer. Love to pay the publicist. Everyone's just working and working. But I got an invoice from them. They hadn't charged me an invoice in like 4 months. And so it's a lot of money. And I was like, oh, man. No, this isn't working out. I mean, and then I was like, when were you guys going to send me this invoice? Like when? If I never asked for it, would you, they were like, oh, we're just doing housekeeping. That's why we sent it to you now. And I was like, no, I asked for it right now. I asked for it just the same way I asked if you would ever come see me do comedy, because you've still never seen me do that live. And the same way I asked if you want to get breakfast while I was in fucking LA, even though I've been here for weeks. The fuck? So, maybe
if anyone's wondering, Emma's happy with her management.
And let me tell you something. I appreciate any work and help because I've kind of, it's like, when you give your life to something, too, it's like I'm running all over the country doing stuff, like sacrificing, being a dependable person in a lot of ways. Like, I just expect, you want greatness, which is what I feel I have in the rest of the team, but like, then when it's like just the audacity to just sit and collect when someone's out here fucking sweating everywhere. But, so maybe Mr. Trader Joe's had a shitty manager. And maybe I'll see him there next month when I'm applying for a job.
And I will be tweeting about it. He got offered a role in a Tyler Perry movie, so good for Tyler Perry.
Wait, when was that?
Today. I read it on Twitter.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm like, good for this fucking guy. You know what? Like, he didn't make himself a reality star. He didn't go down a path that he wasn't comfortable with because he didn't want to, to compromise his integrity. He was like, fuck it. I'll get a job at Trader Joe's and I'll make money. They pay well.
Exactly.
So I'm on his side.
What I was worried about was that when I was reading it, I'm like, who's this bitch that fucking called him out in this picture? And then it's a lesbian. So I was like, God damn it. This is going to make people's homophobia come out. Wait
a minute. It was really a lesbian who took the picture?
Yep.
Well,
It was a lesbian woman of color, too. I was like, oh, no, this is going to make people be racist and homophobic and all kinds of
No, it won't. And she also doesn't represent anyone but herself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, this has been a fun podcast. It's gotten serious.
Will you guys let us know what you guys think of the Louis C.K. thing? In conclusion with it, I think that he should have consulted a lot of people before emerging, and he should have not put a club on the spot because of the nature of what he did. It's like, don't spring things on people. You're literally ostracized for masturbating in front of people in a way. So let's just show that we've learned, even though I know that he's been doing therapy and stuff, let's just highlight that we've learned and try to show, not tell.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna say my point of view is just this means we need to be having more conversations about how to treat women.
I know. What boggles my mind, too, is then when people would say, well, now I don't even know how to act around women. And it's like, yeah, you do.
Act
Don't
like a
set
normal
yourself-
fucking human being, and
Yeah.
don't do any. What do you mean you don't know how to act around them? Like,
Right.
do you know how to act around men? Do the same with women.
Right. And it's like, do you know not how to have sex with animals? Like, do you literally, you know how to not do that? So it's not, you're not like, it's a seamless thing for you because it would take effort for you to go out of your way to be fucking weird to a dog. This analogy is getting confusing, and now I'm confused about why I started it.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And it's like, you know what? It's like, if you don't know how to be in any situation where you are, because the thing is when you're asserting yourself over someone like that, you're assuming that person not only wants it, but whether they do or don't want it, that they somehow deserve it, which is undermining that person's, choice and integrity. So, this, I mean, we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But, again, it's like, stop pulling your fucking dick out, whether it was 15 years ago, whether it's today. And you know what? Here we are.
Totally. 100%.
100%.
So what we should promote for you is that you've got Boston coming up.
Boston coming up, everyone. Please see me in Boston. I will be at Laugh Boston, September 13th to the 15th. So get your tickets at laughboston.com.
So fun. I will be, the next headlining thing I have coming up is I'll be at the Blue Room in Springfield, Missouri, October 19th and 20th. And then I'm at the Draft House November 9th and 10th. But I'll promote that as we get closer to the date.
I wish we could start doing co-headlining together.
Yeah, maybe we can.
Oh, let's talk to our managers.
Well, you talk to yours, I'll talk to my wonderful booking agent.
Okay,
I'm going
perfect.
to have breakfast with my quote-unquote manager tomorrow to be like, so here's your whopping commission. I cannot believe this invoice. First of all, there's a typo on it. Something that I was supposed to get charged $100 for, I'm getting charged $1,000, so that's where this big discrepancy is.
Oh my God.
But it's like, give me, I'm good.
Well, let me know how it goes, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, talk soon.
Bye, guys.